I think all right. Let's try this. Okay. You know what I think it is? Okay, we're back. It's kind of working. Okay, I think it connected to the extender. I just turned off auto join. And I think it joined the extender, which is slow as shit. Um, oh shit! You almost got Mike Shinoda to rate it. That's fire. uh, yeah, it's due to Spectrum. Is it sounding a little bit better now? Um, I think we're better. I think we're okay. Cool. All right. Cool. So yeah, let me know if it runs into that issue again. I need to get like some sort of hardwired connection or something so this doesn't happen in the future. All right. Cool. So I'll say all right. I'll start over with the gear. Okay. Cool. So back in the day, to get a good vocal chain, you had to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, so you'd have to get like a U87, which is like a $3,000 microphone, going into a nice preamp like a 1073, which is thousands of dollars, $2,000, $3,000, into a nice uh, into a nice preamp. Into a nice compressor, which is also 1176 or CL1B. Those are both thousands of dollars. So for $8,000 you get a nice vocal chain, uh, which is just out of control for the normal person. So nowadays you don't have to do that. So I'm gonna run down my like budget vocal chain here. This is the mic that I'm using currently. Hello. This is the mic that I use for all my vocal recording, and it's a decent mic. It's not like the best ever, but I enjoy it because it's really, really versatile. And if you only have the money for one mic to do a lot of things, drums, vocals, guitars, whatever the fuck, I think this is a great mic. This is this AKG C414. They make a couple of different ones. I think the gold one is like a little brighter, better for vocals. I got this one because it's a little bit more. Uh, it's a little bit more diverse. It's got the switchable polar patterns, so you can do like omnidirectional. Yes, the stream will be uploaded. Yep. I'll keep it up. Uh, and this is $1,000 new, but I got this used for $500. So you can find these for good prices. So for $500, we're already in the business. And as far as the chain, I use UAD um, because I use a UAD interface because uh, it's got great preamp and compression modeling that you can print. You can print with. So, back in the day, I was talking about the Neve preamps. I just load one right here onto my channel, and now I've got this Neve preamp, and it immediately makes my stuff sound professional. And right now I'm using this SSL channel for my compression. I don't usually use this. I usually use an 1176, but I'm using this right now because I need it to gate because my room's a little bit messy. So this is doing my compression and it has gate on it. So with this chain, I think you can get UAD Apollo Twins for $500 used, and it comes with a pre. It comes with like a couple pre's and a couple. Um, a couple pre's and a couple compressors. Sorry, it's hard for me to like read your guys' comments and like continue to talk. Let's see, what are the different things called? Can you break that down? What are you talking about? And are you using loopback into streams for the stream? No, I'm not using loopback anymore. Dog shit program. I'm just using. That's another thing that's cool about the UAD system is you can just route everything directly into OBS. So, sorry, the things that I showed you. This is the Neve preamp by UAD. It's just called Neve preamp. Um, and this is the SSL channel. But I would recommend on vocals using an 1176, which the Apollos come with. They come with an 1176. And yes, if you have an Apollo, you have a couple preamps. So go right here into your Unison, and you'll have like a 610 and some other shit, which I used to use a lot until I got this Neve. I really like this Neve right now. I might switch it up, but if you go in here, you can choose different preamps. I'm not going to change it. So, but yeah, so for $1,000 versus $800 or $8,000 back in the day, for $1,000 you can get a pretty decent chain that you can work with. So this is all UA, and the reason you have to use UA for this stuff is because it loads onto this mixer here, and you can click this button. And this will print on to your recording, which is scary for some people, but back in the day or in a real studio, you're printing with all this shit. So that's how I like to do it. I like to do it like I'm in a real studio. What's the difference between the 1176 and the 2A? Honestly, different flavors. I'll be honest, I don't understand the 2A that much. I've never liked it. I don't know. I've never tried it and it's blown me away. I really like the 1176. I mean, it is a classic compressor. It's what they've been using forever. You don't even know it, but you are already used to hearing that sound. 1176 is great. That's the classic. I would say arguably the best. Like my favorite is the CO1B, which is awesome, but that's like $3,000. And I think Softtube makes a plugin, but I don't think UAD does. If they do, I don't have it. But we're talking about specifically UAD stuff here because you can print it via the UAD console. With the UAD, I got the legacy plugin. What's the difference between these and the non-legacy? Okay, so that's a good question. So legacy, so they made tons of issues of all this old gear. So like if you look at the 1176s, there's tons, okay? These are all from different years, not different manufacturers, but different plants, I guess. They have different capacitors, so they all have different characteristics. I'm not super well versed on what each one means. You can look it up. They actually wrote down, oh, there's the CO1B right there. Okay, so maybe I'll invest in that soon. But anyways, you can actually look all this up. It's like, oh, okay, the 1176 Rev A means that they added this button and it sounds a little bit more like this. But I will tell you one thing that I do know, and the one thing that I invested in, all of them are great, okay? You can get busy with the free one, which is the Legacy, and I think it comes with both of these Legacy ones. But the best one for vocals is this AE version. So this AE version has this, where it says slow, it's like a different style of attack. It's different from other ones. Like all the rest of them don't have this little slow icon here. And then I think this has the all buttons in preset, which is all the ratio buttons. But for whatever reason, the characteristic of the AE is known to have the most natural vocal tone. So this is the one that I use when I'm tracking vocals. I just have the SSL on here for now because of the gate and because of streaming and stuff like that. I don't usually use that, but I use this. So the Neve preamp into this, printing, and that's the sauce. That'll get you on your way. So that's the chain, okay? So let's listen to this.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up.
So I'm pretty sure this was done. This was done in his studio. I think I recorded this in his studio. Yeah, I recorded this, and it was his mic, and I think he had a real chain. So this already sounds awesome, as I was saying before. So a lot of the chain for recording on the console. Yeah. So the reason that I have the initial chain and console is because you can print with it, and there's something about this UAD unison mode when you put the preamp here and not in a chain on Ableton, it sounds more real. I don't know what it is. They've got a whole fucking video on it, Unison technology. But if you put the preamp here and then the compressor here and then print with it, it sounds real. It's scary how cool it sounds. So this one, I'm pretty sure this is like
2 drinks.
all outboard gear. I mean, that compression already sounds awesome. It was pretty smashed because, this is like a hip hop song and smashed vocals are the way.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
So it doesn't need a lot of compression. Yeah, good point. Yes, it lightens the load on your computer. So this has a lot of compression on it already. So it doesn't need like a ton of compression, but in the mix,
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no.
I can still hear it poking in and out a little bit. So I would like to control that a little bit. But so let's start with my chain. So one thing that I always recommend is putting all your leads in a group, because if you put a chain on this vocal and then something like overlaps a little bit, it makes no sense to put the same chain on this vocal, waste a bunch of CPU and have to go and change every single one of them. So I put them in a lead vocal group. Okay, so all these are going to be I do this always with some few exceptions, but all these are going to be processed the same. So that's the first thing you should do.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the night.
I don't think we tracked with tune, so I'll put some tune on. Just to get it nice and clean.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
Not that much, obviously. Let's see what key this in. All right, so E flat minor. E flat minor. I always do this. I don't do it here. I always do set minor so you can add notes if they hit an accidental or something.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
I don't really have good auto-tune settings, so don't ask me because I still don't even really know what all this shit does.
2 drinks
I
of
just put
the
it on
right
lightly.
kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you.
All right, and then the second thing that I do is de-essing. This chain sounds pretty good. His S's aren't crazy, but let's just put a little bit on for safety.
2 drinks of the right kind.
I hate these new skins, man. They're so, nice and shitty. There we go.
2 drinks.
So de-essing, obviously it's to get rid of the S's. You've got 2 modes. You've got split and wideband. Split means that it is isolating the high frequencies and turning down only the high frequencies, like the S's. It's like multi-band compression. And wide means that when those high frequencies happen, it turns down the whole signal. And I think they're both good modes. I think the one thing to know with wide is maybe it's a little bit more noticeable if it's smashed. And the one thing with split is you can make them sound like they have a lisp sometimes. So you need to be careful with that.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
So so just be careful with de-essing. Just be really light with it.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
I'm taking out a lot of essing right now, but I'm gonna introduce a lot of that high end later. So I want those S's to be really controlled, like early on in the chain. All right, so then let's add a little bit of our compression, and the most classic compressor ever is the Arvox. Let's go back to our shitty skin that I've been used to seeing since I started doing this shit.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
I love this. It's literally got one fucking knob, basically.
2 drinks of the right kind.
And it sounds good. This is, used on so many records. This is used on everybody from Kesha to fucking Michael Jackson. So this is a classic compressor.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
And it's just doing a little bit. Some people would think this is a lot. I'm just doing a little bit to make it sound super even and like radio and professional. Do I edit the sibilant phrases going into the compressor? No, I don't. There are times, certain words when the S's are just crazy and I'll have to edit. But if you really nail your de-essing, technique, you usually don't have to do heavy editing on the siblings. You can usually handle it. One technique, this isn't really sibling, but one technique that I use is I use multiple de-essers. So I'll use like a R de-esser, and then maybe later down the train I'll use like the de-esser from Waves. I'll use the UAD de-esser. I've had as many as 3 de-essers on a single vocal chain one time, all set to slightly different frequencies to really control those S's. You know what I'm saying? And everybody does vocals different. The way that my mentality is, I like to have a lot of plugins doing a little bit. So, a lot of people would look at my chain and be like, damn, you got so much shit on there. And it's not because I'm doing all the shit. It's just when you take one de-esser and you smash it all the way, it sounds bad. So if it's really similar and you need more de-essing, obviously EQ helps. I add another de-esser at a different frequency from a different company that de-esses something like slightly different, and it's a more natural control. So
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high.
And it sounds like he's saying smoke, so maybe I'm even compressing a little bit too much.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high.
Okay, well, whatever. We'll get back to it. So now I'll do my basic EQ. And I'll just use the Ableton one. I mean, I'm sure there's better sounding EQs. But the reason I like the Ableton one is I don't need to open it to look at the EQ. I could just mess with it here. But the key to doing vocal EQ, apart from when there's weird frequencies going on because of your shitty mic or a weird room, is being very, very light and slight with it. You don't want to over EQ and do all these little, dips that are hella deep and shit. At least not all the time, because then it'll start to sound over EQ'd and sound a little bit weird, and you'll start to lose the intelligibility of what they're saying. So what I like to do is I like to make it a little brighter.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up.
I push it really hard to see what frequency I like.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up.
And then I'll back off.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke.
And depending if I need it, I'll do a little bit of this area. You don't want to do it too much because this can hurt your ears, but a lot of the intelligibility of vocal is right here.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the nighttime, when the club glows and the light goes.
And so you can see that this curve is kind of keeping this one up. So, I really just want to push that frequency. So sometimes I'll do a nice little dip here to bring it down and keep it a little bit more even.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke.
So, but this is really all I'm going to do as far as the first EQ. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's plenty. So this is kind of the standard, my standard basic pre-Vox chain. So it's the auto-tune going to the De-Esser, going to the first compressor, going into an EQ. So now I start to add some sauce, some things that maybe I like to use that people kind of differ in this point. And one plugin that I really like that's kind of a cheat code is this Clairphonic plugin. And what this is hold on, let me mute myself. Hold on, I need to blow my nose really quick. Be right back. Okay, sorry. So what this is a what's called a parallel EQ Stay away from CLA. No, you don't have to stay away from CLA. That's a great option. I just, I personally don't like, I don't really like a lot of the CLA stuff that much, but I was talking to my friend Tom, who mixes for Lady Gaga and, you know, Zet, like literally one of the sickest mixers ever, and he loves CLA. So it's all preference. I personally don't love it, but it's whatever gets you your best sound. So anyways, back to Clearphonic. This is a parallel EQ plugin, and what they used to do back in the day is they would double the lead vocal, and they would push the fuck out of the high frequencies of the double and like really compress it, and then they'd mix it in with the regular vocal, and it'd give that like sparkle to the top of the vocal. It's like an old engineer trick. But with this plugin, you don't have to do that anymore. It does it for you under the hood. So this knob here, Clarity, is going to add a lot of that high end for me.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the nighttime.
And damn, that's loud.
2 drinks of the right.
And that's why I was de-essing earlier. Yeah, my bad. So that's why I was see me like looking at the comments and then trying to focus. Like I'm too distracted. I mean, keep bringing me questions, but yeah. All right. So, anyways, this is going to be different from just EQing high, just pushing high end up. This is going to sound different because it's parallel, and there's some crazy stuff going on under the hood. And the guy Tom that I was telling you about earlier, he's the one that put me on to this, and he did like some tests and like tried to EQ stuff and tried to get this sound, and he couldn't get this sound. So this is really it. And that focus, I think that's like kind of pushing up this area, like the 1K like clarity type area. I don't use it a lot, especially for a vocal. Like this vocal sounds very aggressive already. So I don't think I really need that knob. 2 drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the night. Let's do some A and B. Here's with it off.
2 drinks of the right kind, ain't
and
no
on.
smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the night.
Immediately sounds like fucking professional radio record, right? It's an amazing plugin, and it's not that expensive. So highly recommend this one.
2 drinks of the right.
And I can already hear that now that I pushed that up, you know, his S's are back. So without pushing this one, I mean, maybe, you know, maybe
2 drinks.
Let's see.
2 drinks, 2 drinks, 2 drinks, 2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you.
Yeah, I think I want to add another De-Esser. So I really like this Precision De-Esser from UAD. Put it before the Clearphonic.
2 drinks of the right kind. 2 drinks, 2 drinks, 2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you.
Cool. So now with the 2 De-Essing, I have a natural sounding DS. So I've got 2 in the chain now.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
Now, sometimes I'd add another compressor after this just to add a little bit more control, but I think it's sounding pretty smashed.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime.
I mean, maybe just a touch. Let's put a touch of limiting just when he does the higher notes.
2 drinks.
It doesn't like sound obviously louder.
2 drinks of the right
Just a
kind.
tad.
Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you.
Okay, cool. So now I will call this the pre-Vox chain. This is before effects. Okay. And if you're doing this, if you make one that you like, save it. Because then you could drop this on any vocal that you record and then just tailor it to what you recorded. But it's a great starting point.
2 drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see.
Sounds really fucking good. But have you tried the UBK one? No, but I have heard of it. What is that again? All right, so let's get into effects. So this is Ableton. I like Ableton because you can do audio effects racks. It's different from every other DAW because DAWs have channels with like places for plugins, okay? And, you know, you could get like, you know, anywhere from 8 to like 16, 8 from like 16 slots. But fuck that. In Ableton, you can have unlimited. So I like to use audio effects racks for that. So what I'll do is I'll add like an EQ. This will be like my dry channel, and I'll do Command G, and now it's in a rack, and I'll call this dry. Okay. So now this is my dry channel. So let's make a reverb. No, before we do reverb, we're going to do an old school trick. This is also some sauce. Pay attention. The doubler. So we'll put a doubler here from Waves. Call this double. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then I turn off this direct because this is just the same thing. I don't want to double it with itself.
2 drinks, do the right kind.
Obviously, that's too much. But if you put it in nice and subtly, it starts to thicken out the vocal through your mix.
2 drinks, do the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the nighttime. When the club glows and the light goes through the windows.
Cool. And you just kind of put it to taste. But it's a really good technique for getting your vocal to stand out.
2 drinks, do the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
It kind of sound exciting and like, oh, it's like right here in my face, and like there's a little bit on the sides. It's like, oh, it's a nice little thing. So all right, so let's do our reverb. So what I like to do is I like to mix. The double on the track itself. So if you're not familiar with Ableton, an audio effect rack, this is now acting like a send. I don't use the actual sends. I have got like one send. Oh, this is an old ass project. I'm not using any of these. So in audio effects racks, these, when I turn off the dry signal, these are now acting as my sends. And my send is on the vocal group of all the leads. So it essentially is a send, but it's done a different way. So this will be my reverb chain. And what I like to do is I like to use a lot of different styles of reverb that have different widths, different lengths, different feelings, halls, plates, strings, whatever, to get a thick and full dynamic sound rather than just like one reverb on the track and calling it good. So this is where Ableton's really cool. I just made an effect rack in the effect rack. So this is my verb channel, but I'm gonna have like 4 or 5, maybe not on this track because I wanted it to be a little bit drier. I'll probably have 2 or 3 verbs on this one slider, and then I can fuck with those verbs individually in within these sliders. So I could call this, you know, verbs or whatever. And this is why I love Ableton so much, because it's literally limitless. So I'm using the Ableton reverb here, and I'm going to use this as my short room verb.
2 drinks, do the right kind.
Low size, short decay time.
2 drinks, do the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
Nice pre-delay.
2 drinks, do the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime. I only see you.
And now I'll do like a longer, like vintagey.
2 drinks, do the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
And then what's cool about this is I can EQ it. I'm gonna take out that low end.
2 drinks.
To add the audio effect rack, yeah, it's doing Command G on anything. It'll group it and turn it into a rack.
2 drinks, do the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
I think this is all often overlooked too. Like take control of your verb. Like EQ your shit, because you know verbs got like bass and shit you don't want, and like you can make it really thin if you like that style.
2 drinks, you're the right kind.
That's like kind of like an EDM-y style.
2 drinks, you're the right kind.
You can like push the frequencies that like show the vocal off the best.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
That's like kind of cool because it's like kind of vintagey. And then you can take out harsh frequencies.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up.
So now that sounds pretty good. So let's turn this way down.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime.
I really like this song. Calls for kind of a drier vocal, so this isn't really like fitting the song for me right now. But just for the sake of me showing you how I do this, I'm gonna add one more verb. And I like the R verb a lot from Waves.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
And it's same sort of thing there.
2 drinks, you're the right kind.
Let's do like, there's a vocal plate that sounds nice.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. 2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime. I only see you.
So now this verb is a lot more dynamic than just using one. I'm using 3.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the.
I don't really love it for this track, but usually I'm doing stuff like that. Do you like sidechaining the verbs to the dry vocal? Not really. I think that you can really hear that. And if that's a style, that's a cool style. And maybe for some stuff I would use it, but it's definitely more of a style thing rather than a utility thing. And what I'm showing you right now is like utility stuff, like stuff that I do all the fucking time. I don't really like doing that anymore.
2 drinks, you're the right.
And the cool thing about doing the rack in the rack is if I wanted to just turn down all the verbs
2 drinks, you're the right kind.
for an effect or just to like mix it in.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
I can do that. And then also I can I can solo the. Another thing that I like to do sometimes if I want to like get the verb a little bit more even, since it's in its own rack, I can process the whole group together. So if I want to limit my verb and keep my verbs super smashed for whatever reason,
2 drinks, you're the right kind.
smashed verb is cool because usually to get a more verby sound, you need to like make the length longer, but say you don't want it to be a long length verb, but you want to hear the verb, a good way is to have a short verb and compress it. So if I want to do that, I can do that to the whole group here.
2 drinks, you're the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull.
Now the verb is really even. I can hear it even when it's quiet. Move your cam up. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about this because this is so dumb. This is the wrong side. Okay. Let's do this. And then put my camera under. Okay, this will be fixed from now on. I meant to do this earlier. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's my bad. Because the right side, like what the fuck? I'm talking about all this type of shit and you can't even see it. Okay, let's see. Let's catch up on some of these questions. Which reverb are you using? Did you just join? Because I went through all that, but I'll show you again. This is the Ableton verb, the Valhalla vintage verb, and the R verb from Waves. So I'm using 3. Smashed means, very compressed, exactly. Inside the reverb rack, do all the verbs get the same input or does room output into the chain? I'm trying to understand that question. Inside the reverb rack, do all the verbs get the same input? Yes. Oh, output to the chain. Yes. They get the same input. This trees into these equally. Yes. Cool. Let's see. All right, so now I've got this.
Two
this verse
drinks
sounding good.
of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Hope you pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the nighttime. When the club closes.
And this is like kind of a this is kind of a drier song, so I'm gonna have that pretty quiet. Okay, so now we're gonna get to our delays, and if you guessed it, we're gonna have multiple types of delays. One of my favorite delays in the world is the Ableton stock delay. Okay, this is not how it usually comes. This is like a preset. I have it come load as. Name this delay. Make it a different color. Okay, so this is set to time. The feedback is set to 0, and the wet is all the way up. And this is off. So that's like pretty much what my preset is. And the first thing I'll do is I'll add just like a fast, I guess you could call it a slapback delay. I'll link these.
Two drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
So that's like the slapback, right? And then I'll put a filter after it, so I can. I mean, you can use the filter here, but I don't know. I like to do everything manually because I'm stupid.
Two drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high.
That's some EQ. I'm literally just doing what you can do right here, but I'm an idiot.
Two drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up.
I'm just obsessed with control. So we'll call this slap.
Two drinks.
And another cool thing you can do with delay is you can make this wide. So I'll add another delay right here. Same preset here. And this is not linked. So if I move this up, this is delaying the right side by 17 milliseconds. And it's going to make my slapback wider. Oh, my camera's not right. Hold on. I got to make the camera right. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Oh, fuck it. I'll fix it later. Okay, anyways. So, here we go. Listen.
Two drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
Now it's wide. So, I've got a delay going into a delay, auto filter, EQ. Okay. Above the audio preview. It's crazy because there's no really good place for my camera because I like you being able to see all this shit too. Let me just do this. And this. Oops, not that. This, no. This. Boom. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So now we've got the delay going into the delay with the auto filter.
Two drinks of the
So I got this wide slapback.
Two drinks of the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get.
Adds a nice little subtle trail to the vocal.
Two drinks of the right kind.
It's kind of acting as another reverb. Top right. I guess you're right. All right. One more, guys. One more. Let's try it. It's still too big. I should just ask him to make it smaller. Maybe I can make it smaller, but for now, so you can see the chain, I'm just going to do it. All right, sick. There we go.
Two drinks of the right kind.
Right smack dab in the middle. Yeah, you bet. Okay. All right, it's cool. So let's go to our next delay. Our next delay is going to be our ping pong. All right. So once again, you could use H delay if you want. I fucking hate that plugin. I think it sounds horrible, so I don't use it. So I just use the Ableton one because it's just pure unadulterated delay.
Two drinks, two drinks, two drinks, two drinks, right kind, two drinks.
So it's up to you what rhythm you want to use. Obviously, it goes with the song. So let me just hear this.
Two drinks, the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up.
I like that one right there. So let's actually use this filter on it this time.
Two drinks, the right kind, ain't no smoke.
And then turn it way down.
Two drinks, the right kind, ain't no.
It's a little distracting on that.
Two drinks of the right kind, ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the nighttime.
I don't really love the ping pong. Maybe this was a bad example of a song because I really liked how dry these vocals are, but most of the time I'd have a ping pong. But let's fuck the ping pong off for this, and let's just do
2 drinks to the right kind.
yeah, let's do it like that. So we're just gonna have it in the center. Put some chorus on it.
2 drinks to the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime. I only see.
And you know, mess with all your delays here.
2 drinks.
Or, yeah, all your rhythms.
2 drinks to the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime. I only see you in the nighttime.
That's nice and subtle. Okay, cool. So this is, I don't know, eighth notes. Cool. So now I've got my dry, double, verb, and eighth notes.
2 drinks to the right kind. Ain't no smoke.
Do I do parallel effects? Do you always do parallel effects rather than just putting on 100%? It is. Are you talking about, what type of effects are you talking about? Are you talking about the delay? I mean the this here. Because these are all parallel now. Because the tapping acoustic. Yeah, I have that. I can do that. Reverbs or delays. Yeah, I put it on 100% dry wet and use it as a send. I don't like putting it on the track and using the dry wet knob because this knob sucks. It's stupid. It gives you no control. It's like turning one signal down and one up. It's kind of dumb. All right. So now that I have this is my vocal effects chain. And if you're doing this at home, you should definitely save both of these individually if you want, or you can save the whole thing and call it, you know, vocal chain 9,000. And here's oh yeah, I want to AB the whole group, sure. So here's your finished chain. So here's without anything.
2 drinks to the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. 2 drinks to the right kind. Ain't no smoke, but you get high. Pull up in the nighttime.
You know, obviously huge fucking difference. You've literally mixed it. And let's review. I'm gonna go over one more thing, but before I move on, let's just review everything we did for people that just got here or want to review it. Obviously, this will be up on my Twitch, and you can probably download it or something. I don't know how you crazy kids operate. So this is comprised of 2 chains. All right, it's my pre-vox chain and my vocal effects chain. So the first chain starts with the tune with some de-essing. I use De-Esser. Today I'm using split mode, but that goes back and forth. My first compressor is always the Vox. Got some really light EQ, just bumping up a little bit of 1K for the bite and the clarity, and then a little bit of around 10K for some sparkle. This is not the best EQ for that, but it's fine. I think it's okay. But because the real sparkle's coming from this clairphonic. But before the clairphonic, I needed a little bit more de-essing, so I'm using this De-Esser. And then just to even out the dynamics a little bit more, I have the L1, just barely touching it, just to control all the loud bits. Yo, you should save the chains and upload them for people to download. I mean, I can, but there's tons of different. I mean, I will do that 100%. There's just tons of different plugins. I'm sure people don't have all of these, but I will 100% upload my chains. I have nothing to hide and don't care if people use them. Why De-Esser versus Pro De-Esser? It does not matter. And Pro De-Esser is actually an awesome De-Esser. The only reason I'm using De-Esser right now is because I don't really know how to use Pro De-Esser that well yet. But I would say that that's one of the best De-Essers I've tried. I'm just using what I know how to use, which you should always do until you find out that something is better, then fucking learn it. But, you know, using this versus that, you know, when there's no real crazy sound difference, just use the one that allows you to make the best music. So now I've got, so that's the pre-chain. And then in the Vox chain, I've got this dry with this EQ on. I'm not doing anything because I already did that over here. This could literally have nothing. Let's just delete it. So this is the dry. This is
2 drinks to the right kind.
Just this chain. And then we've got our doubler with this turned off to add that thickness and a little bit of wideness. I mean, obviously the lead vocal you want in the center and mono-y, but just to add a little bit of that wideness. Then we got our verbs. Got our 3 here, which are this short reverb, this is kind of my room, my Valhalla Vintage with some heavy EQ on it, and then my R-Verb with the vocal plate preset with some light EQ. And I'm limiting all these to get them to be a little bit more even, and so I could hear them a little bit better without having to make them super long. Are there other yeah, micro shift should work. And how do you think about the verbs you use? Why not just one reverb? So one reverb is fine sometimes. I think on this final mix I didn't use too many because it's dry. But if you want something swimming in verb, personally I like the sound of multiple verbs mixing together, doing their own thing, because every verb is different. They're gonna have different delay times. They're gonna have different frequency responses and this and that. So I personally like mixing the different flavors together because that to me makes something sound way more professional, dynamic, and interesting rather than just smashing the fuck out of our verb using a bunch of verbs. And when I do songs that require a lot of verb, this is not one of them. This chain might have 6 verbs in it, and I'll mix it up as much as I can. Springs, plates, halls, rooms, whatever, different times, and whatever tone sounds the best, I'll maybe bring that one up and EQ them differently. I just like the sound of many things doing stuff subtly rather than one thing going fucking crazy. So any high level difference between springs, plates, halls? Yes, they all sound really different. Definitely experiment with which one's your favorite. I mean, plates are the most commonly used for vocals and things like that, but they all sound cool. I like how they all sound in their own different ways, and they all tailor to different vocals and songs differently. And one thing to keep in mind, remember, I'm doing this on the group, so I don't have to do this on all 4 tracks because my computer would be going crazy, and if I wanted to turn reverb down on all the vocals, I'd have to go to each individual one. So do this on your lead group, okay? And then we have our delays, which is just a slap that I've widened, some filter, and then an 1/8 note delay on beat. So that's our final chain here, okay? So one thing I want to talk about is doing throws, doing hey, yo, engineer, on that last word, can you make it like reverb out a couple, like do some like delay for a while, you know what I mean? Doing stuff on individual words, bringing stuff in and out. I want to talk about how I do that. So I think when most people start out, they think, okay, let me automate this volume up, okay? At the end of the word, right? So
see you in the nighttime.
But then as soon as you turn that volume down, the delay stops because it's the volume of the delay, right? So that sounds weird. You don't want to control the volume of the delay output. You want to control the input into the delay. So you're basically feeding the delay something, then taking it out, and the delay continues to delay and complete its delay while the rest of the vocals are not going through that throw. And let me show you what I mean. So if I was to do that with a quarter note, let's call this throw. Put this on like a quarter note. Only see you. Okay, so I want to do it on nighttime. Okay, so this is my throw on nighttime. So what I'll do is I'll put a utility before the delay in the chain. So now I have control of my gain going into this delay. This delay is always on. It's like sending it to a send. You know, it's literally like, you know, what people have been doing for decades, sending it to a throw send. But doing it in the context of Ableton and how I like to do things and audio effects racks, this is how you accomplish that. And what's really cool is you can name this throw, so when you're automating it, you can easily see. You can easily see what you're affecting. Okay, let me move it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. It's on the group. Duh. So throw gain. Okay, throw gain. If
nights on.
Yeah, you could do that way too. The other track and then at 100% and then just put that clip on that track. But the problem with that is your clip is not going to be processed the same unless you like print it. The routing's weird. If you're doing it like how I'm doing it right now, the routing's weird because because look, this is going into the group which has the chain. It's just weird routing. So I like to do it this way.
Nights on.
So let's turn this down. And then let's make this our throw.
Nights on.
Yeah, you'd have to bounce first, which just to me it seems like a lot of work when you can just do this and then adjust it how you want.
Only see
you can fade into it.
when the nights on, staring at these.
You know what I'm saying? If you want, you know, you have full control this way. And I'm always the fan of the option that gives you the most control, right?
See you in the nights on, staring at these twisted faces.
And what's cool about this too is you have full control over this delay, right? So think about ways that you can be creative with that. So one thing that I like to do is I like to make the trail kind of disappear into oblivion as it goes. So maybe I'll put another delay on, and this one is set to my widening preset, and I'll maybe automate the widening up so as it delays it gets wider. You know what I'm saying?
See you in the nights on, staring at these twisted faces.
Right? Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then let's maybe put a reverb on it, and then put the dry wet of the reverb as it's going wider, so it becomes.
See you in the nights on, staring at these twisted faces. No.
So now I've got a really, really cool throw, interesting throw because I have all this control. So let's just listen to the throw by itself.
Nights on.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll probably even make this a little bit. Sounds crazy. So that's pretty cool. And then I've got the level here. If I'm like, okay, it's just a little bit loud, I just have this easy control.
See you in the nights on, staring at these twisted faces.
Really nice and subtle.
See you in the nights on, staring at these twisted faces.
So you can be in full control, be fully creative with this shit, and make it as intricate or as simple as you want.
Nights on, staring at these twisted faces.
So another trick I want to go through is reverse reverb, in which a lot of people might know how to do this already, but I just want to show how I like to do it. So reverse reverb is a really good way to like introduce a new part, add some drama to a part. So the way that I like to do it is I like to use the resampling feature so I can get all of the effects that I have on the vocal. Nice, and maybe not the delay effects really, but the dry effects. So we'll record this, and we just need the two. Turn these back on. So now you reverse the two. Is that right? Yeah. You reverse the 2. And then you put your reverb on. I don't want that like S thing at the end. Really. Cool. And then I like to make sure that the note is coming through. So that's kind of like where the note is. So now I will freeze this and then flatten it. And now I've got this reverb trail that is backwards. So when I reverse this, because I reversed the vocal first, now when I reverse this, the vocal is back to being forward. So this is a very common effect, you know, it's been done for years, but that's just a really quick way to do it.
2 drinks.
And that's really long. Sometimes I just like
2 drinks. 2 drinks. 2 drinks.
And then you can obviously do this with delay as well, to get that cool effect, which I don't use as often, but it's a cool effect, man. People should use this.
2 drinks.
Just get the 2, reverse it. Yeah, so the time, yeah, so you can affect the timing to end right before the vocal starts. That's a flavor of it. It just depends on what's good for the part. Sometimes I'll have it end way before. Sometimes I'll have it like really fade in, where it's like to the point where it's still happening when the vocal comes in. It just depends on the vibe. So let's do this one with delay.
2 drinks. It'll right.
Oops. Maybe ping pong it. And then freeze it. Did it not get my delay? Oh, I hate that. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Unfreeze track. For some reason, I don't know why it does that. It's a bug. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's because it's all the way wet, maybe? I don't know why it does that. Okay. And then reverse this. Nice. And now I've got a cool little intro. 2 drinks, you're the right kind. 2 drinks, you're the right kind. 2 drinks. 2 drinks. Cool, and you can do it however you like. So that's a cool effect. So we've got our throws, we've got our reverses.
Nighttime, staring at these twisted faces.
Okay, cool. So now let's talk about doing.
Please straight up tell me what you want from me.
Harmonies and stacks and things like that. Okay, so this is a good example here.
So be straight up, tell me what you want.
So what I like to do with the way that I'm thinking about doing stacks and harmonies and things like that is I like to think about what they're accomplishing and help them accomplish that and nothing more. So I think when I first started, I was like, okay, I have to make every single track sound as clear and as like compressed and as spicy as the lead vocal. And that's just not the case. And when you do that, it sounds overprocessed. You want it to fit. So these harmonies have a specific frequency that note is hitting, right?
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me.
So let's help it fill that frequency. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put some compression on it.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want from me.
just to control it.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be
And completely dry, it already sounds good. So listen to that. Like, don't think that you need to do all this crazy shit to it when it already sounds good dry. So let's just clean it up a little bit and just make sure that it's not taking up any room we don't want it to get.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be
It sounds fucking good, right? So, and another thing too is I remember when I was first starting out, you know, I was like, oh, vocals have high end. So let me put all this crazy high end on all the vocals. Okay, your lead vocal has high end, right? So you don't want like all this crazy high end and sibilants coming from different backgrounds and the sides and layers and harmonies. You want the sibilants to be taken care of by your lead. So I don't push high end unless I absolutely need to. If I've got something that really needs it, some sort of high thing that comes in that I want you to pay attention to, I will. But these are kind of dull.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want from me. So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be
And they're kind of dull, but they fit because this has so much sibilance and high end.
So be straight up, tell me what you want. So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be don't.
And that sounds dope. So also, you don't want to flood all this shit with reverb and stuff because you really have that coming from your lead. So let's just put a really subtle verb on this just to get it to sit a little bit better because it sounds a little bit dry, but nothing crazy. So let's go vocal plate because I like it.
So be
and make it a little bit shorter even.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be don't.
And then where's that frequency? It already sounds good, but let's just for the sake of experimentation, let's see what frequency that note is really shining at. What makes it like pop through the most?
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be
It's right there. That's really where it's coming through. So if we wanted to, we could give it a very slight bump there.
So be straight up, tell me what you.
And then turn it down a little bit.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So be don't.
I think I like the other way. In a very thick vocal mix, that's a lot more needed. If you've got like 6-part harmonies, you really got to focus those frequencies and tailor them to each group. And then when they're completely tailored, that's when you can go into like, oh, turning this one up and down. You want it sounding awesome before you go into like leveling, I guess. So I liked it more dry just because this already sounds sick.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So you don't trust me, we both know that you don't love me, but you said that you need honesty, so I'ma pull up about 3.
Also, why I'm glad I took the EQ off because now he's doing a different note on this part, and that EQ would have sounded weird. So it's not always necessary. Try stuff, but then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. All right, so. Oh, talk about the panning. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the panning. So I don't do 100% pans a lot anymore. I used to. I think they're just a little bit extreme. I think I like to really switch up how things are panned. Like if I've got 4 different harmonies, I'm gonna choose which ones I want to feel wide and like kind of out on the sides. And there are some harmonies that sound good straight in the middle, like mono. So it's good to kind of prioritize and pick which is getting the most space and what kind of space. These are panned 37% each way, and I decided that was pretty cool.
So be straight up, tell me what you want from.
Thank you, Justice League TV. And thank you, Trenton, and everybody that's joined. If you're just joining, my name's Lophiile. This is my song No Bust. It's been out for a year, and I'm just going through how I look at vocal mixing. So the last thing that I will say, and this is really the cheat code. So if you haven't paying attention, now's the time. This is the... Oh, it's Justice West. What's up, bro? And Ramzoid. Damn, all the fucking... God damn it, all the fucking homies. All right. So, the last thing that I want to say about vocal... about vocal mixing is using frequency sidechaining on your music. So back in the day, you know, this is all like techniques that I learned when I was a young kid, like people trying to help me out with this shit. And then things have all changed and become plugins now. So back in the day, what you used to have to do is if you had like a really thick musical part with tons of synths and instruments and things like that, when your vocal came in, you would kind of figure out what frequency your vocal is taking up, and then you would dip that out in the music when your vocal came in. And it was up to you if you wanted to just kind of do a slight dip and keep it on, or automate it often, or whatever the case may be. It's making space in the wall of sound, in the wall of music for your vocal. So back in the day, you kind of had to do that manually. Today, you don't. So you use a plugin called Track Spacer. So I've actually already put all my musical elements into this one channel here. Minus the bass. I don't want to fuck with the bass, but the main guitar loop and my chords and things like that.
Honesty.
So what I'll do is I'll put on Track Spacer, which is an awesome plugin. I think it's like $100. Absolutely need to buy this, like literally. And I'll take sometimes I do all the Vox, sometimes I do the lead vocal, but today I'll do all Vox because it's mainly just a lead vocal in this song. And now my in real time, my vocals are dipping those frequencies out of all the music elements.
Honesty, so be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want.
Obviously, that's way too fucking much. But if I take it down quite a bit and just make it super subtle.
Honesty, so be straight up, tell me what you want from me, what you want. So you don't trust me, we both know that you don't love me, but you said that you need honesty.
It just adds that extra professionalism to your mix. It just adds that extra spice. And I use this at the absolute end. Like, do not rely on this because I've heard songs that are hella track spaced and it just sounds shit. This is like, you've got your vocal sounding fucking amazing. You've gone and like automated the vocals of each word, or automated the volumes of the words that were too quiet. You are done with your mix and you want to add that sauce. That's when you pull out Track Spacer. So I just bought Soothe. I've never had it. I just bought it. I have no idea how to use it. I don't even think I've opened it yet, but I hear Soothe is the goat. Could you just sidechain the instrument bus to the vocals with any compressor? So the difference between doing a compressor and this is frequency based, okay? Like if I narrow this down to like, I don't know, 10K, and this is going to sidechain the volumes of that frequency range. So that's why this is special. It's not like regular compression, which is just volume based. It's just dipping out the whole volume of something. It's dipping out just, and I've used this for multiple things before. So, for an example, I had a song where I put a Drake vocal on the top of it for like a DJ set, okay? But as you know, you can't get Drake vocals anywhere. So it was a shitty acapella that somebody made with RX8 or some shit. So it had like these remnants of hi-hats coming through. And I had hi-hats in my beat. So when my hi-hats were going and the hi-hats and the vocal were going, it was way too much. So what I did was I put this on the Drake vocal. So anytime my hats came in, I set it just for that frequency of the hi-hats. It dipped the hi-hats out in the Drake vocal. So it was a supernatural way to get rid of his hi-hats and have my hi-hats come through. So that's another that's another use for this stuff. Essentially, multi-band compressor. It's a very good dynamic EQ. So I'm not really sure exactly what a dynamic EQ is, but it is a multi-band compressor kind of, but this is special. It's not a dynamic EQ. It's not a multi-band compressor. It is specifically a sidechain plugin. Multi-band compression you use on a signal to compress multiple frequencies just based off of that signal. Dynamic EQ, I think that's just like a similar thing. You pick a EQ band and have it just like dip in and out. But this is specifically designed for sidechain. This is when you want one signal to take a specific frequency out of another signal. If somebody sends me a melody with a bass line in it, but I like that bass, but then I have 808s, I can have my 808s take the bass frequencies out of that loop anytime they're hitting. And if the 808 stops hitting, his bass will come back in. So this is a special, unique plugin. Oh, you're talking about Soothe. My bad, everybody. Yeah, so Soothe is basically like a really nice dynamic EQ, which I've done. I do my own soothing with like dynamic or with a multiband and dynamic EQ and shit like that. But yeah, I hear Soothe has some extra sauce, so I bought it. I just haven't used it yet. Do I have anything on the master? I have a Pro L, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, with the dubstep setting, which is what I always use. But I just got Pro L tools too, so I'll be using that now. Sorry, I just went totally in on on Trackspacer and you were talking about Soothe. But hey, just so you guys, just in case people who still didn't get it, now they get it. All right, so that's basically my vocal processing masterclass tips and tricks, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Any more questions? I mean, I think that's basically everything, apart from like really special effects. But that's pretty much the standard, my standard vocal processing. And I appreciate everybody coming in, checking it out. You know, it's been an earlier stream. Apart from like really special effects. So, wait. Oh, my fucking phone is playing my stream. Echo. Let's see. Can you stop? Jesus. How come you throw a limiter? All right, let's get through these questions. Have you ever messed with binaural panning? I have not. What is that? How come you throw a limiter on the master? I throw a limiter on the master because I like to hear what my beat sounds like with a limiter on it while I'm making the beat. Some people don't like that, but I think making an entire beat, making it sound good, and then throwing a limiter on it and changing the whole fucking sound is insane to me. But and the only reason there's a -6 dB is because earlier they said it was loud for the stream. But when I bounced this out, I'm pretty sure I didn't have that. Or maybe that someone else mastered this, so maybe I did. I don't know. But I just that was just to turn it down. This was so great. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm really thank you guys, everybody who subscribes and follows. Follow me if you're not. You know, I do these tutorials. I also make beats live. I make beats out of stuff you send me. I'll give feedback. Basically, whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I've been producing since 2004, so like I've learned quite a bit. You know, I'm not the biggest producer in the world, but I do have some shit that I like to share with people. And I know that vocals is one thing that's kind of a dark art for some people, but it's not that hard. It just takes finesse and nuance and not doing too much. Just lightly tapping it, because vocals, it's a sensitive signal. You know what I'm saying? It's a sensitive thing to use. So if you over EQ it, over process it, you're gonna hear it. Are the main vocals high level? Are the main vocals usually lead, doubles, harmonies, ad libs? Main vocals. I mean, main vocals are usually just the leads. As a listener, as a bubble work, it sounds. Oh yeah, so I use a plugin called Oculus Spatializer for that, and yes, I do use that. Got to mess around with Soothe. Yeah, I'm really excited to mess around with Soothe. It's on my to-do list. Will I do another stream tonight? Maybe. I got some stuff to do today. That's why I did this one early. Got something to do at 5. So, oh, in tracks. Oh, yeah. So if you're doing a vocal tracking session, yeah, you get your leads, you get your doubles, you get your harmonies, you get your ad-libs, and you're good. And it's good to know when to harmonize something and when to double something and when to not. I think too many people, when they learn how to harmonize, learn how to mix harmonies, they get really, like, go really crazy with it, and, like, everything sounds like a choir. But unless you want it to sound choiry, you don't want everything to be choiry, okay? So sometimes things sound better on their own. And sometimes things don't need to be harmonized, you know? Do you prefer to do Vox on top of a complete instrumental track or along with everything else in the session? I mean, I'm pretty sure it would sound better if I did it in a separate session, but just because I'm a producer who makes beats and does everything, I just do everything in the same session. If I have to, with Ableton 10, how you can do groups of groups, I'll group all my music together and then have that on a group that I can turn down and up. But yeah, it's basically all in the same project. So I can do things like track spacing and stuff on just the chords, which you can't do if it's just a 2-track, you know what I'm saying? You talked about the Soda Beach patch that is in so many songs. Can you name a few? I don't remember the names of the songs, I'm sorry. It's like Benny's most popular song, the song Trust that I produced for Alina Baraz. We use it. There's a Don Tolliver track, After Party, that uses it, and then a bunch more that I don't know. I just posted them. What is the deal with the main guitar loop? So, this beat started out like this. I made those chords and put this like loop underneath, and I was like, there's something about this that's just not happening. Like the drums are fire, the chords are technically cool, but I was like, let me see if I can add some guitar to it. So there is this pack from Illmind. I don't know what it's called. Melody 22. Melody 22. And I was like, let me add some guitar. And basically what I wanted to do was I wanted to find some guitar and chop it. So here's the guitar loop that I found. On its own, it sounds so like dumb and like you know, sad cowboy. So the first thing I did was I put it in beat in tempo, right? And then I made the chords in, it was already in the same key, which was crazy, but then I chopped the chords up to match my chords, because I was like, these have enough chords in this loop, I'm sure I can match it, and I chopped it some way. And then I used Little Altar Boy to give it that like grit and like to format it a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what I did. There it is. Format all the way down. And then so I noticed on the second time he did the little bling, it sounded way crazier. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna save that for a certain part of the loop. So when I chopped it up, I used it for this turnaround. See, I had to chop it there because instead of going doom da, you know what I'm saying, it didn't match my chord, so I had to use it there. So I chopped it up and all that kind of shit. So that's the story behind No Bus. And then, oh yeah, and then most important part, I put it underneath my chords and I was like, okay, that's a little better. Still not quite there. And then I was like flying stuff around, and then I like maybe didn't fly the chords, and it was just the guitar loop and the drums and the 808. And I was like, oh, wait a second. This is the fucking beat right here. So this was one of those classic things where you added a whole bunch of shit and you're like, what the fuck is going on with it? Why isn't it like making me like excited? And then you mute something and you're like, holy shit, Batman.